We're playing Snake in RuneScape, moving around the map, one chunk at a time. We have an hour to complete as many things as possible before the snake is going to randomly move forward, left or right. If we can complete all the challenges in a chunk before the time is up, the snake grows, giving us more area to play with. Join me as we work towards the first goal of the account, unlocking the Champions Guild. This is SnakeScape. Welcome back. In the last episode, we worked on a bunch of quests, and we are now 13 quest points out of the 32 we need to unlock the Champions Guild and complete the first phase of this account. We're currently in the battlefield chunk, with the head of the snake here and the tail of the snake in the Chaos Druid Tower. In this chunk and the upcoming chunks, there's not that much that we can do that's kind of unique. So what I think I'm going to do is, while I still have access to it, we have the nature rune chest in these chunks. So I'm going to go thieve a bunch of those. Let's get to it. Oh, okay, we've got random. Let's start the timer. 3, 2, 1, go. Let's talk to Sergeant Damien. We're still working on getting all the outfit pieces so that these random events can start giving us lamps as opposed to kind of random rubbish. Oh, that's another collection log. Let's run over to the chest now. I want to get some thieving done. And now we attempt to unlock this door a million times until we finally get through. That genuinely took like 5 minutes to do. Oh my goodness. Okay, let's go upstairs. One little tip if you ever have to do this. The entities, which is the chest which has stuff in it and the chest that doesn't have stuff in it, are actually two different entities. So you can set the left click of one of them to be search for traps, which is the one that has stuff in it. So it'll search for traps and then get you the reward. And the other one you can set to walk here, so it doesn't show up. So I can only click on this when there is stuff inside this chest. Makes it much, much easier. This is exhilarating gameplay. Currently getting 5.5-ish thousand experience per hour. So we're getting lots of natures. So the reason I'm choosing doing this over doing kind of anything else, like I could be training melees at the moment on the gnomes, but I think that nature runes specifically are something that's quite difficult to do, to like get a load of. So we can get maybe like 200-ish doing this for an hour, which I hope will come in very useful later down the game. We're still only 4 magic, so you know, I mean, we're a long way off being able to do high alchemy or anything like that, but I feel like later down the line, when we're going to need loads of these to get a load of money or to superheat item, it's going to be very useful. And this chest will be the last one of the hour. That concludes an exhilarating hour of gameplay. We have 195 natures, which will come in very useful in the future, and a little bit of cash. I mean, that's not very much, but better than nothing. Let's jump in the trunk picker. I need to go to the bank and grab all my stuff out of it, because we are definitely losing access to a bank in the next hour. Let's see where we're going. And here we are. Snake's currently facing west out of the battlefield chunk, meaning we can either go up into West Ardoyne, which really means this kind of tiny outside area here, forwards towards the altar, or south into Tree Gnome Village. We lose access to a bank with this next roll, so I've taken all my stuff and gotten ready for the excursion ahead. Out of these 3 chunks, I would probably prefer to go to Tree Gnome Village, just because it means that we can still work on the long and curved bone grinds, and now we have a bunch of cake with us, they'll be much, much easier. Without further ado, let's see where we're going next. And it's south into Tree Gnome Village. We lose access to this bank up here, and now we can go back to working on the long and curved bone drops. Let's jump in the game and get to it. And here we are. This is the entrance to the Tree Gnome Village, and one thing I was thinking that maybe I'll be able to work on in this chunk would be continuing on the fletching grind. It says oak trees right here, and talking to Elcoy gives you a teleport right towards the centre next to the general store. So that might be something worth considering. But for now, I have an inventory full of cake, so I think it's best to work on the hill giants which are inside this maze. Let's start the timer and get to killing some hill giants. 3, 2, 1, go. Let's talk to Elcoy. So we are hunting for the 1 in 400 long bone and the 1 in 5,000 curve bone. We've only have a total of like 50 KC on this account, so, you know, we're still well below rate. And while we're doing this, I'm working on defense XP. We're currently 45 strength and attack and only 40 defense, so I'd love to get them all up to 45s. And there's 34 prayer. We are now on our final prayer before protect from magic. Oh man, I'm looking forward to these 3. Just think how much easier this will be if I can just flick and pray from melee the whole time. With that kill, that was the 100th giant. So we are 1/50th of the way to the curved bone drop table. I'm currently on track to kill about 100 hill giants this hour, which means that on rate we are going for about 50 hours. But the problem with RNG grinds is you never know when they're going to end. So it could be even the next kill. 55 combat means that these guys are going to be aggressive for still another 2 levels, which is very useful. It makes us a little bit more AFK than it normally is. And with that, that is the end of the hour. This goblin attacked me. That was clicking on something. Okay, run away. In that hour, we used 7 cakes, and we were able to kill just about 90 of the hill giants. So that's pretty good for a first hour. There's nothing else I don't think I'd want to do with the rest of these chunks, but let's see where the head of the snake is going to go. Hi there, sorry, it's Editing Bushy here, and I have a bit of bad news about this episode. Unfortunately, I've lost 4 clips from it to corrupted video. 3 clips are the next 3 consecutive clips, 2 inside the chunk picker and 1 hour of gameplay. Now, I couldn't find any way to get this footage back, so instead of actually showing you, I'm going to have to do a bit of an exposition of what happens. In the next chunk picker, we go to the fight arena. And what that means is that the chunk afterwards is guaranteed to have a bank. So for the next hour of gameplay, I'm much more liberal with the cakes I use. After that, we go to play an hour of killing hill giants. We don't get any good drops from this. No long bone or no curve bone. And to be honest, I don't know what other drops we had. Nothing that was memorable. After that, we jump back into the chunk picker and we roll into East Yanille. This means that we can now resupply on all our stuff and we can start farming with some hops, which is where you join past Bushy. There's actually one interesting thing from this chunk. There's a hop patch just over here, and because of the master farmer that we've been pickpocketing in the last few episodes, we can have onions and we have Asgardian seeds, which is the lowest level hop you can use. And I believe it's level 8 that requires using them. So we can actually continue training farming. This is one of the main reasons I wanted to get some early levels of farming. It just unlocks all the hop positions all around the game. So I've got some cake for killing the giants, and I've got some onions to pay the farmer and some Asgardian seeds to plant. So let's start the timer and get back to killing some giants. 3, 2, 1, go. Let's get the rake out and start raking this patch. And now those are planted, and if I pay dude a sack of onions, yeah, then these will grow. We have 30 onions, so I don't really mind using them on that. That's exactly why I wanted to grow onions and potatoes in the first place. Let's go and kill some giants. The thing is I'm so much happier now that we have access to a bank, because I can just run back and resupply off of cake, and I can pick up all of the good drops they have. I had to drop a bunch of stuff in the past, like there's herbs and kind of other random rubbish that they drop, but now we have the bank, I can keep everything. I was able to get just shy of 100 kills last hour, so hopefully we can do the same again. I know this means absolutely nothing, but I've only killed 23 hill giants, and I have 5 ensouled giant heads. These are a 1 in 25 each. I should only have 1. Where's this luck when I need it? Like, just give me the longer curved bone. What is this? There's 45 hit points. So that was my 50th hill giant kill on the hour, and I've had 9 ensouled giant heads. I feel like Jagex are just teasing me or something. Bring it up for 300 hill giant KC. So we're currently on rate to get about 80 kills an hour, which means that it's going to take maybe 55 more hours of doing this, of killing hill giants, to go on rate for getting the curved bone. But the main problem is that hill giants is actually one of the fastest ways of getting the curved bone, other than the frogs that are just south of Lumbridge. So this is actually kind of optimal for this area to kill these hill giants compared to killing, the ogres or anything else around here. And that's going to be the end of the hour. Unfortunately, we didn't get anything too useful. Just a ridiculous amount of ensouled giant heads. Just so weird. So let's jump in the chunk picker, see where the head of the snake is taking us next. We have access to this chunk for 1 more hour, so I reckon I'm going to keep utilising it. Hi there. Sorry, this clip was also lost to corruption. It's in the chunk picker, and we're going from East Yanille, and we go forwards down into Gu'Tanoth Island. We still have 1 hour of hill giants remaining, so we get back to doing that. So Gu'Tanoth Island has absolutely nothing useful for us at the moment, so we're going to get back to what we were doing just a minute ago. I have got more Asgardian seeds and some onions to pay for the farmer, and so let's start the timer and harvest those hops. 3, 2, 1, go. Oh, another giant's key. Very nice. We're at 360 KC, so we're coming up on rate for the longbone. And that is kill number 400. So with this next one, we are officially dry on the longbone. I don't mind being dry on the longbone if it means that the curved bone is going to come here faster. But I kind of hoped that after 4 hours we would have been able to get at least one of the bones. But maybe I'm just being way too optimistic. And that's going to be the end of the hour. So with that, there's 421 kills. We now lose access to this chunk, so we're going to have to find something else to do. Let's see whether we're going down into Feldip Hills or we'll spin back around again. We still haven't gotten access to any of the drops that we need to complete these chunks, and we haven't worked on anything else in these hours. We're now losing access to Tree Gnome Village, so let's see where we're going next. And it's left into Gu'Tanoth. We still can't get in here because we haven't completed any more of the Watchtower quest. I believe this chunk up here is the one that we need to keep working on it. Let's jump in the game, because I think that with this setup, what's going to be most useful is going back to some fletching. So with this chunk setup, I think the best thing we're going to need to do is to work on fletching more. We're currently at 177,000 XP out of the 900,000 we need for our fletching goal, so I'm going to put some work into it, as there's some oak trees just up here and the bank's so super close. While we do that, I'm actually going to do the farming myself for the first time. Shocker. As I'm so close to the farming patch, I might as well go and water it myself and go check on it every 10 minutes. So I'm going to try that out. Let's start the timer because I need to pick up some hops. 3, 2, 1, go. Let's run over. Cool, now let's get to some wood cutting. And with this log, that is 63 wood cutting. We are not going to be able to see very many levels during this grind, so it's nice when everyone comes around. And there is 20% of the way to 72 fletching, making some very good progress. With that, we are now 10% of the way to being on rate for the curved bone and 20% of the way to our fletching grind. It's quite nice having the two to balance off each other, like a RNG grind which could end at any moment, and if XP grind. And there's 56 fletching. I've completely buggered up the amount of logs that I have. I started fletching way too late. So I am definitely going to have a load of logs left over in the bank after this hour. Cool, with 45 seconds left, we were just able to harvest this Asgardian hops. Managed to nail the timing of that. So now we can jump in the chunk picker and see where we're going. Of these three, the only thing that's going to make me change up what I'm currently doing is if we go to West Yanille, because we can do a little bit more questing before getting back to fletching. But let's see where we're going next. And it's into West Yanille, which is probably the one I wanted the most. I think we're now going to be able to continue the Watchtower quest just a little bit more, let's jump in the game and get to it. So now that we have the rope from buying it from Ardoin, we can now continue on with the Watchtower quest because we can now get over to this island using the rope. Let's start the timer and work on that. 3, 2, 1, go. Let's run over. Hopefully I'm not gonna die. I think I have to tank a few hits, but it shouldn't be more than 45 HP, surely. There we go. I'm gonna talk to Gru. Want to enter City of Yogas. Okay, now we leave the island, and I think the next step is gonna require the chunk south of Gu'Tanoth. Let's have a look. Yeah, so it needs this chunk down here. So we can't continue any more of that. That was less of the quest than I thought it was going to be. I'm really annoyed now because I wish I had that rope last time we went through there. But you live and you learn. Let's get back to doing some fletching and looking after this patch over here. Ooh, and a mysterious old man. A maze. Yes, I would love to do a maze. That was a load of chaos runes and steel arrows. That's really good. And with the end of those 2 hours, we're 873 oak longbows unstrung. We lose access to this chunk now, so I'm going to get all of my stuff ready because there is a chance that we lose access to a bank. Let's see where we're going next. So in that hour, we were able to tick off the Watchtower step 4, and we worked on our fletching, now sitting at just under 200,000 experience. From here, we can either go back into Castle Walls or Tree Gnome Village. We've been here before, you know what's going on. Let's see where we're going. And it's north into Tree Gnome Village. Good thing I brought all that cake with me then. I think I'm going to get back to killing these hill giants. And we're back in a very familiar part of the world. Hopefully in the next 4 hours we'll be able to get to maybe 800 KC, and I really hope we get the long bone at least. But I'm going to leave that for the next episode. We've been aiming for the long bone, but we haven't got it in these 4 hours of trying, and then we worked more on our fletching. Of course, getting a little bit of nature runes right at the beginning. So I think that's a really good amount of progress. If you've liked this episode, a like would be greatly appreciated, and a subscription would be absolutely amazing. We've got a load more grinding to do, and we'll be starting the next episode off in the same place as where we started this one off. So I'll see you in the next episode. Goodbye.